Hey, what's up? This is Dilio coming to you with a video. We're going to go right into and talk about how to work with the modulation matrix of the Sub-Factory plugin, Air Sub-Factory. So I got a plugin right here. Okay, so we got that, and I'm using the Moog Square Pulse Wave. So if we listen to that, but the first thing I want to do is I want to modulate the filter, which is this setting right here. So if I go to my Q links, I know if I could sweep that filter. Right, so I want to make the LFO affect that. So this is my LFO side right here. I know you can barely see my fingers, but I'm trying to make sure you can see the screen well. So what I want to do is go to my LFO targets. This is sort of your routing matrix, routing different parameters to different things. So in this case, you got the LFO shape right here, targets, and then targets again. It's kind of grayed out, but you can see that if I go to AB filter, because it applies it to both, it doesn't apply it to sample. I'd like them to add that. But now when I turn that on, okay, and if I want to change the speed of the LFO, I can go over here. I can change my filter style, or turn this button here to right. Right, so let's try and go a little bit more creative with this. So I'm going to unroute it, turn off there. Now we're back to normal. So now I have the destination turned off. Right. So let's say I want to modulate the index. Oops, sorry, I know my focus is lost there. There we go. Come on, focus. Let's say I want to modulate that index. You know, I want to get that thing to kind of get that modulation here, right? So I can go back to LFO targets. We got level A, level B, level sample, which is the volume, index A, index B. So you want to go to index A, turn it on. Now we should be hearing a change, but if we don't, we need to go back to the actual oscillator itself and see. There it is, it's right there. Just gotta turn it up. Sometimes you gotta kind of tweak it a little bit. And I can kind of affect how much of this LFO is being sent back to the oscillator. And unfortunately, you don't see it happen here. You don't get a visual cue of what's happening to it, but this index is under the control of the LFO via the routing matrix here. You can change the direction of that thing. Or I can change the maximum amount of that. Or what I like to do to pulse width is I like to kind of pull up like a sine wave. Maybe slow it down just a little bit. And that's just that right there. So then I can maybe play around with that. Maybe I want that whoa, whoa. Maybe put in like a lower sound. Oh, that's a funny sound. So let's say if I open this up, and let me bring that down an octave. And maybe I want the volume of that to kind of fade in, not be there all the time. So I can go to the LFO, because I only have one LFO for this, and let's see if I can find a target for level B. So now you're hearing oh, I'm sorry about the focus, but now you're hearing the sound of the second oscillator come in on the pulse of the modulation of the index of the first oscillator. So you get the sound. if we want to go crazy, you can go ahead and do some drive on it. Maybe you don't want that LFO to change so much on the volume, so you can just turn that down. Or you can just play around with that LFO pattern and, you know, find another waveform that you like. And maybe find something like, let's see here. You got a lot of nice little patterns here too. You know, you can. You know, so you got a lot of good stuff you can work with as far as the modulation is concerned. And if I want to add that volume control to A, I could just turn that on there. So now we have 3 destinations that we're routing to from the LFO. So you can really play with that and just trying to go crazy with it. Add some chords to it. That's that soul funk. And you can really play with that even more. So let's go further since we're already playing with this. Let's go further than that, a sample. I mean, you probably got it now, but we got noise. So this is where I wish I had more than one LFO. And you can add that to the sampler, I believe. Like so, level S for sampler. And let's go to that mixer. And now I want to add another routing place. I can go to the AB filter cutoff that affects it. Doesn't affect the filter on the sampler side, but it does affect it on the oscillator A and oscillator B. Let's see what happens. So we kind of got lost a little bit. And here how exaggerated is that filter is, but we can dial that back a little bit by going back into the matrix. And if I want to get rid of that filter resonance, turn that down. And you can really play with that, but that sort of gives you a demonstration of what you can do with the modulation matrix and the LFO that's in the sub-factory plugin. And I did this on the screen so you can use this on a computer or your standalone. It's all the same. You got these effects there. So, you know, you can't really, you got the AB filter morph, so that morphs between these two filters here. So if I morph right now, let's see what happens. So let's just hear what happens if we apply that to the AB filter morph. So we get a little bit of effect there. yeah, you can get crazy with it. So hope you like this. If you like this, let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Dilio T2K, where I'll show you how to get under the hood of this stuff and not just mess around with the presets. All right, peace.